What's up? How we doing, everybody? Are we good? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, the 3rd of April. How are we all doing? Chat, can I see you live and happy? Are we doing good? So, today's episode, well, we've got a little bit of ground to cover, but a very exciting prospect to the streams that will now hopefully be something going forward is our stream sponsor. Ye and behold, everybody, we have in front of us, fresh from the Radio City Beer Works Brewery, 2112, a Cryopop and Talus double IPA. So, the kind people over at Radio City Social, Radio City Beer Works, have been kind enough to provide us with a few cans to sample their wares. Dan, my good friend over at Radio City Social, knows how much of a Philistine I am when it actually does come to beers, but hopefully over the course of these streams, maybe I can get a little bit more cultured and actually start to develop a taste for fine brews. So if that sounds good to you guys, you can sample 2112 as well as many more of the beers made by Radio City Beer Works at Radio City Social in Chelmsford. Amazing night where you'll be able to sample the beers and sample some cracking music on the 20th of April, which brings us to where we are today. So I'm going to, before we get started on live set, I'm just going to crack this open right here. Try not to get any of it spilled on a white shirt. A bit of a brave choice tonight. Let's sample the wares. It is an 8% beer. So I'm probably going to be needing medical assistance by the end of this stream. But until then, cheers, and cheers to Radio City Beer Works 2112. Let's get on it, guys. Make sure to follow the socials and stay up to date on everything that they have by hashtagging We Are Chelmsford. And yeah, you'll be able to stay updated on all the finest beers in Chelmsford. Oh, that's bloody lovely. Strong as well. I'm not even going to try and pretend to describe the flavors. But it kicks like a mule. So yeah, much better way to start the streams, I think. Okay, let's just see where we're at. Okay, no one on the Insta social. So welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody's had a good week. Had a better week than last week or the week previous. A lot more time to get some more of the live set done. Not loads. Unfortunately didn't have loads of time to get things ready or to get things put into the set. What I thought we would do today is we'd cover a couple of areas. So like I said, there's not much that's been added to the actual live set itself, but I thought what might make a bit more of a welcome change would be if we basically just went over some of the bits of the live set, like some of the equipment that I've been using, that I will be using on the night, as well as show you the process of how we go introducing songs into the live set. So what we're looking at here, for those of you who haven't tuned in for the last few weeks, it's basically a version of the live set. It's basically what I'll be looking at on the laptop that's set up on the stage with me. What we have here are what we call scenes. So each of those, you'll play a certain line here. So it will play down in descending order. And once one section completes, it moves on to the next. This all allows all of the different musical characteristics to be automated to basically formulate their own way through the set without much supervision on my part. So yeah, just check it on Insta. Rosa, Graham, good to see you guys. If you're free, YouTube and Twitch, we're just going over the live set, only just started. It'd be good to see you guys there. So let's just check the chat as well. Brown Star Lee, how's it going, my man? You good? Can I play Wonderwall? Well, the night is young and I have an 8% beer in front of me, so usually those two ingredients together results in inevitably smashing out some Oasis. So stay tuned, my friend. So let's have a quick look what we got. What's different from last week? So far, not a lot. I have completely changed the intro. So what we had last week, what I described pretty much was the intro that I had to the Radio City Social gig last year, as well as the ballroom in Canterbury. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all, pretty much. Obviously, it's a track that I made a while back. It's a track that I'm fond of in different ways, but just not for a live setting, or at least wasn't the energy that I was going for on that particular night. So what I have switched it out for, again, it's all subject to change. I've hopefully got quite a bit of time this weekend to get some things done. But I've switched it for a track off of my new EP called Seraphim. The song in question is called The Jackhammer Scream of Our Dead Son. It was actually a quote that I read quite a while back to describe the end of the universe. So yeah, quite apocalyptic in nature. Let me just see. Okay, yeah, if that's coming through all right, people. I haven't actually done the levels on this for quite a while, so apologies if they're a little bit skew riff, but this is the idea that I've got for the intro for now. If you guys could let us know if that's too loud or whatnot. And in fact, actually do have to change a few things here, make sure that we're actually able to play alongside. Massive Vinted binge this past couple of weeks. James introduced me to Vinted pretty much, my brother, and since then you could say I have what some might describe as a problem, a bit of an addiction to buying random bits of Gymshark and Gym King clothing online. So let's have another go at this. Okay, so this I feel is a little bit more appropriate for the gig. Again, it's starting off small, growing big. A little bit of time for that to kick in. I think it's going to kick off in a minute, but we'll see how far we get. Like I said, guys, please let us know about the levels. going to be a little something there to be able to join the two together. But that's pretty much the intro so far. You could probably tell from as soon as I entered that solo, I need to get a lot of practice in. So where I've been prioritizing basically getting this set together, producing a few other tracks or whatnot, I'm leaving the last week and a half. So everything before that's going to be prep, it's going to be getting this set like looking good, getting tight, sounding good, but the like all the practice is going to be left for that last run, and then it's going to be drill. So even then, with reference to next week, what we'll do is, I think for next week's stream, hopefully by that point the stream's going to be finalized because we'll only have about a week and a half left. I'll be able to give you guys a quick run through of the whole set in its entirety, and then the week after that, a few days before the actual gig itself, we'll do a live performance. We'll do a whole live run online of the new set, all bells and whistles included, exactly how it's going to sound on the night. So hopefully that sounded good, obviously barring the last guitar section. Just checking to see who's on. Yeah, as soon as people are on, they're off. But yeah, nice one, James. Cheers for popping in, lads. Obviously Arsenal's now playing, so I'm imagining quite a few people, quite a few of our regulars aren't going to be on the stream. But from where we're at anyways, we're going to be going into that. Now, what I've got following up is actually the track that we came up on stream quite a few weeks ago. So for those of you who are there, we created a song from scratch. I still feel like this track needs a lot of work before either getting released or really being played live, but I am somewhat comfortable with it where it is, where if we did throw it in, I wouldn't be too like amiss to sort of include it how it sounds at the moment. So yeah, we've got that pretty much. A couple of the tracks that I'm taking out at the moment. So basically what I want to have the focus of this live set being is the last EP that I've released, and well, at the moment I'm not quite sure whether it's going to be an EP or a slew of singles. It might even be, might even be both. But yeah, the main focus is going to be getting those two bits of material in. So one of the tracks that I said I would be keeping the last time as well is Beaufort. So definitely think this one's going to be sticking around, which is why I've left it here in the set. Probably leave it in the same place in the set as well. One of the other ones, all these belchers, by the way, brought to you by 2112, Radio City Beer Works finest. So yeah, actually going down quite a treat. If I start slurring, let me know. Or slurring worse than usual anyways. The other track that I've included in the set, obviously before the other one that we made on stream, is I Long for Accidents, another one that created recently. Now this one's quite interesting. So I'm going to pause this quick. This might help those who are more observantly on the night. Basically, this track doesn't have any sort of cues built in or a basic structure to follow with regards to when I need to be playing along. So it starts off with just a simple guitar part. Just up here. One second, I'm going to try and shut down a few things. So after playing that, basically what I'll need is a cue in. And so I don't want to make it seem like there's this click that's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So it's in 3, 4, which means rather than the usual 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So instead of the usual 4 beats, it's going in 3. There's what we call a swung rhythm. it's like a waltz. So you imagine you've got straight beats, so you fall to the floor, doom, 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 doom. A free four is like a waltz. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's the tempo that we've got for this song in particular. Now, one of the handy things about Ableton with regards to this live set as well is if you can see on the side here, this is all of our different sections. And actually what we're going to try and do today as well, we're going to try and actually introduce one of the other tracks into this set list. So I've already done some of the lifting behind the scenes, but I'll just show you what the process is with regards to actually getting it in a playable state on here. Hopefully that's something that we'll be able to put in during the span of the actual stream itself. Worth a go anyways, but for now I'm just going to see, we'll give you guys an example of how I'll be playing along. So listen out for the click here, because the click is going to be telling me everything with regards to where I need to be coming in. Let's see what's going on here. Yep, it's all good. So we're hearing that click. So it's going on the offbeat as well. So I'm going to try and see if I might be able to figure this one out. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh. Okay, not bad. Again, similar to the first track, needs a lot of practice. But like that's so usually what I found online is, and what you usually find with bands or artists that are playing live these days, is they actually have in-ear pieces with a click track. So like they're able to play along to a click, rather than having to rely on the monitors at the front delivering whatever the drums are doing, whatever the other artists are doing on stage. That's something I am most definitely very much interested in, but based on what I've found so far, looks very difficult to pull off with the technology that I have available to me right now. I won't get into the technical bits, the technical mumbo jumbo or whatnot, but basically I need a very specific piece of kit to be able to facilitate a click that's happening in my earpiece. So for now, it's going to be a click. Very similar to Amor Fati, which I would have played at the last Radio City Social gig. Just without a click, it's a repeating pattern or repeating motif that is able to accompany basically any time signature that I put, or not time signature, but any tempo that goes above that. So mainly due to this green sample here, this light green one, we're able to basically play anything on top of that. And so what you can hear is that this sample is totally random. So I've got a randomizer set up at the front here, and all that's doing is basically playing a different part of this whole sample at different intervals, but it's basically playing it in such a way that it supports whatever's in front of it tempo wise, so I don't have to really worry too much about falling out of time, or like I was going to say out of key, but it would actually show up if I was out of key as well. So moving on, so that's about what I've got done for the set itself so far. Let's just see what other sections we've got here. We've got 2 songs that I'll be wanting to keep in the set, and that will be Badinage as well as More is More as well. So I'm thinking like both of these songs to be able to like still play towards the end. The ones that are still up in the air at the moment, I do think there's going to be a place for Terror there somewhere. Unfortunately, I think one of the ones that I'm going to have to drop, and this one actually hurts to drop, is Erebus. I personally do love this song a lot, and I think like with regards to its place in the set, there's actually a lot more involvement than there is with Terror. I'm basically going to have to pick between my 2 children with regards to which one actually stays in the set and which one goes. So that's going to be something that's going to be established next week. Like when we come back, as I say, when we come back to the set next week, there should be like the set done in its entirety. A few more things to show. But one of the things we're going to do today then, so as I say, this is as far as we've got the set so far. That probably breaks about 25 minutes, or leaves us about 25 minutes worth still. Yeah. Basically, what we've got on the other side here, rather than try and explain too much what's happening, these are all the different stems, if you will, for each of the different tracks. So like we've got here, if I just turn this off for a second, if I play this from here, this is Beaufort. So if I solo here, we've just got the kick themselves, the bass. If we move over here, the leads, pads. There's not really pads, there's a little bit of leads there as well, I guess. But so all of these different sections come together. You've got your hi-hats or different drum sections. And so what that will do is once these are cut up, I will once these are put into the track, I'll then separate them using these locators here at the top. So basically this section here, we can just press play. Even though I think the tempo is going to be wrong there, but it shouldn't really matter too much. We've got our kick section. Then we can bring the arpeggios in. So basically, the reason I add these locators at the top is because it makes it much easier to then be able to move our tracks over onto our session view, which is where we'll be playing live. So what I'm going to do is, because I want it somewhere in the set, probably after I Long for Accidents, so I'm going to insert a new scene here. We're going to rename this Chance as a Contributor, and we're going to say it is so what I've got here is the actual file itself, and what I do is I include in every one of the folders the tempo of the track as well as the time signature. So what we've got here for Chance to Contributor, it is a 4/4 time signature with a 95 BPM tempo. So basically just get rid of that. 4/4 Chance as a Contributor, and we're going to say that is 95 BPM. And what that does is that will then tell, we'll just make that the same color as well. That will then say, if you look up here, at the moment we've got 3/4 and a tempo of 109 BPM. If I was to click this, it then changes that for me, so that like all I have to do is press one of the buttons. In fact, we'll go over some of the kit in a sec, but what I've got here is a launch pad. Let me just make sure you guys can see that. And so what this does is this basically, you can see where that little red box is on the screen. That basically allows me to navigate through Ableton without having to use a keyboard or a mouse whatsoever, which is ideal for the night pretty much. I basically don't want to be using a keyboard or a mouse whatsoever. So this bit of kit allows me to cue in certain sections. If I go here, for instance, hard to see on the stream, like you won't be able to see the colors, but there's this red button I can press here to get the click started for the track that we just looked at, I Long for Accidents. Then just press that. And there we go. Now we can get that track started. And so all I have to do is press a button so I can go straight over to my guitar. And so then that will keep going. I'm just going to turn that off real quick. But if we just go to Chance to Contribute here, what I'm going to do is, and apologies if this might be a little bit mundane. This is the part where it doesn't actually take me too long, to be fair, but I just have to recognize certain sections and be able to identify which bits need to be split up. So we'll just have a quick listen. So this is the song Chance to Contribute. So we're going to say this part here, add locator. We're going to call this the intro. And we'll just listen along and we'll just think of different sections, or we'll name the different sections as they arise. And you'll see why we're doing this in just a moment. So, yeah, we've gone 4 bars. I think we're going to get to another 4 bars before we get to where the guitars come in. And 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to stop there. We're going to add another locator here and say guitar. Now, you aren't hearing any guitars because obviously I'm going to be playing that live. So we don't actually need the sample put in there just yet. Give us an idea, I guess, actually. Let's say that's the first guitar line. I'll do that 4 bars across. So, yeah, that will be second verse. It's not strictly a verse, like, because there isn't any lyrics. You could probably apply that to most of the terminology that I'm using here. But, like, the main thing with regards to setting these names up is more something that I can identify as certain sections and help me navigate through the set. It's sort of like doctor's handwriting, if you will. It's not necessarily for other people to use. It's just so long as I've got an idea of what sections we're going to be utilizing. That's fine. So what we want to find is the middle 8 section, which I think is going to be there. Yep. So I'm going to add a locator, another locator here, and say middle 8. So a middle 8 section is like a bridge, if you will. I can't remember why we use the terminology middle 8. It's to do with music theory, which I'm completely useless at. But middle 8 is a term that is used to describe entering a section that's like mainly instrumental, used to build into the next section. So we've got middle 8 here. And I think, although I'm not quite too sure on all of these different sections, I think we might have to double check it. So I think this is going to be final run, and then we want our outro section, which I think is going to be here. So let's just call that outro. And now let's get the guitar and see if everything fits in together. Can we just get a few messages in chat, even if it's just a hi, holla, just let us know you're in. Not that I'm feeling particularly lonely over here, but just want to make sure that this stream's still going out all right. There aren't any errors. I can't see on the phone at the moment, but would be good to know everyone's still in. A nice one, Daz. All good there. So we are still live. Very helpful to know. Thank you very much. So let's get this in. Let's just see how this sounds with. Might help if I'm plugged in. The beer is absolutely tremendous. Stayed consistent since the first sip up to where I'm at now. So I think I've probably got like 1/3 of the can left. Absolutely stupendous. Hopefully, like I was saying, I've not been slurring too much or not been, particularly boring this episode, I hope. Like I said, there's not really loads to go over here, but again, just another insight as to what we do here at Hornstone Studios. Sipping Radio City beers, shredding guitar, and putting live sets together. Hopefully coming up with a few bangers along the way as well. So let's just see how this song sounds with the guitar included and see if we've got our sections right. So we just want to make sure that these separators are actually aligned with where we want certain sections to come in. I think they looks like one of them's wrong, but we're going to figure out which one that is. So introducing guitar. Okay, so again, need to get the practice in. These tunes are sounding very sloppy, but I actually think that aligns with the amount of bars that I was actually expecting, so that's good. What that means is we'll be then looking to put this track into the set list itself. Mine, how's it going? All good? Good to see you in the chat, man. If you fancy joining the stream, the details are in my link in bio. You'll be able to join through either YouTube or Twitch. So if you fancy hearing what we're all hearing in here, be good to see you there, man. Catch you in a sec. So coming back here, we've got all of our different sections. What we're going to do is we're going to come back here to Chance the Contributor. We're going to insert a new scene, and then we're going to introduce a few of those, I think. So we're going to say, right, there's our intro. And basically these locators help us to cut different parts of the track and add them in to our session view. So rather than like dragging all of this over, which would basically, as you can see there, bring over the entire track, we can just say to Ableton, let's just take the intro of all three of those sections, and where they're aligned under bass just here, we'll just put that in there. And we'll do the same for all of these other sections. So let's name them first. Let's just say that's guitar, because the annoying thing is that like you'll then be if you don't name them first, it's then a guessing game as to what's going on with every different part of the track. We'll say the second verse. Let's move that in to there. I actually just went back on my own word on that one. Didn't name the track first. I blame the beer personally. I think it's putting me off my game completely, but it does taste absolutely amazing, and we'll definitely look forward to nicking a few of these. I won't say off stream, they're going to be saved for the ones later on, but very good shout, guys. Make sure you head on over to the Radio City Beer Works Facebook page, as well as Twitter and Insta, where it's at Radio City BW. And we've got www.rcbw.co.uk for the official website. Get your orders in now. These do go fast, and we're not sure when the next brew is going to be, but any news I hear will be passed on to you fine people on the Juanstone live stream. Keep tuning in. So we've got middle 8 section over here. Let's just get that renamed. Middle 8. Final run. And I think we've overdone it with one of the other tracks. Outro. Oh, I think I've just killed it. Nope, it's all good. And let's just call this one blank. So I like introducing the blank scenes just whilst I'm working on a few things, just to add a little bit of space, make sure that everything's on the screen up at the same time. So let's just have a quick look. You've got a chance to contribute starting here. What we're going to do is we're going to get this guitar section. So what we described, drag this over, bring that in. Guitar, second verse is already in there, I think. Yep, that's in. Middle 8. So middle 8 section we need to bring over. This might look a bit confusing at the moment, but hopefully in a few more moments it might make a bit more sense as to what I'm doing. We'll just drag these over here. So now what we've got is the whole track, luckily only 2 minutes with regards to the stream. Excuse me. But basically what we would be doing now is color coding, so that like when we're actually looking again on this bit of equipment here, I can look at both the screen and the launch pad to be able to tell where I'm at in the set. Again, no keyboard or mouse needed on the night. Very helpful. But what we're going to do here, we're just going to color code, and we'll start by looking at what sections of the track are actually active at any given moment. No worry, Daz. Cheers for tuning in. Be good to see if you come back, but no worries if not. This will all be available online after the fact as well. So we're going to see from the beginning of this track here, we've got both our bass and the pads, but no lead sounds coming in for the first 2 sections. So if we go to leads, we're just going to color code these black. Have another go at that. And we can see that for the very end of this track, there aren't any leads either. So we can just go ahead and call that one black as well. So what we're going to do is, much like I described the color coding in the last stream, we're basically going to make this a dark red or a bright red to be able to indicate the beginning and ends of the track. We're going to add a bit of light red here to indicate a section coming out of it as well as a section going in. That'll be all 3 down here as well, just to indicate when we're coming close to the end of the track. And I think for these 2 in the middle here, how do we color code it at the top? So I Long for Accidents has got blue as well. So I think we're going to go light blue here and like a cobalt here. Oh yeah, I think that is cobalt. Might be teal, I don't know. Anyone want to chime in as to what color they think this might be? Have a little butchers, but I think we need to make it the same as the rest here. So there we go, that falls in line. Okay, so we've done our color coding. We know what we're looking at on the launch pad. We just have one final thing to do. All good, Johnny. Nice to see you, dude. No worries about lurking. I think that's pretty much what everyone else is doing at the moment. Hopefully that is what they're doing and they haven't actually decided to jump ship already. But I would perfectly understand why as well. Again, like I said, not loads to discuss this week. Just a little bit more insight as to what we do for the live set itself. So let's just have a quick butchers, the last thing we're going to need to be doing. So where I'll be playing, I'll show you here. If I was to just press play, so our song gets started, but the problem is we haven't notified Ableton about what we want to do next. So we've said play these 3 tracks, play the bass, play the pads, play this one as well, which is silence. But the problem is, gets to the next section, doof. We haven't told it what to do yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into these sections here. These are the actual scenes themselves. We've got quite a few different options here, sort of quite a few, too many options, quite a few here that I don't quite understand myself yet. But the main thing we're going to focus on is this little section here that says follow action. So a follow action is exclusive to this view that we're looking at right now. So you won't find a follow action here. As you can see, we've gone into the same section and that section's completely disappeared because in arrangement view, we're always going to be moving to the right-hand side. We're always going to be moving along the right. So it doesn't matter. We just press play, we'll keep moving along, and it's just going to keep going regardless. With our session view, because we're moving in also in a different direction, but we're also wanting to queue different sections in, we need to instruct Ableton as to what to do once those sections have wrapped up. So you can see here we've got a few different commands here. We can play that section again. You can go up, you can go next. You can play the first part of the arrangement, you can play the last part of the arrangement, or you can randomize it. You know, so there's a lot of different options with regards to the follow actions, but the main two that I've been concerned with, at least anyways, with regards to the previous live set and this one, is basically just the next action or the no action. Stop, I guess, is pretty much the same as there's no action, although I could be wrong on that one. But basically, all I want to tell Ableton to do in a very simple way is just to play the next section or keep going with regards to the track. So I'll try and get this moving a bit. Basically, we've got an idea of how many bars each of these are. So each of these different lines here indicates a bar. We've got a 4/4 time signature, which basically means we've got 4 beats per bar. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Erin, Rao, good to see you guys. But it looks like you guys didn't stick around, unfortunately. But hopefully you guys are rocking up to the stream some point soon. So where we've got each of these different bars here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. We've got 8 bars in this section. And because this section is just as long as the next 2, we can safely assume that our first 3 sections are all 8 bars each. So we'll click all 3 of these. And we'll say our follow action is going to happen in 8 bars. And we're going to say, play the next section. So then we're going to go to the next section. And we're going to tell those 3 in 8 bars time, go to the next section. And then that one, 8 bars time, next section. Now, once we get to the middle 8, we can see in the middle 8 that there's actually not 8 bars this time, but 6. So instead, as you may have already guessed, rather than picking 8, we're going to say in 6 bars time, go to the next section. Then we're going to say for another 8 bars and then another 8 bars after that. We're going to go 8 bars next and then 8 bars next. Okay, so we've got, hopefully, all we need to be able to play Chances of Contributor live. Keck the Boss, how's it going? Very nice to see you. Yep, finally made the stream. Still trying to figure out, but I do know that Keck is also LOL in Horde Speak. So I do have a feeling I might know where the origins lie on that one, but you may have to correct me also. Let's leave a Keck in the track for all Horde players in the chat. No Alliance Scum. Wanted today, thank you very much. No, I was joking. Right, let's see. Chance to Contributor. Let's see how we're doing with this. Might help to turn on the guitar. And it might help to see if I might be able to play it right this time. Oh, right. Okay. So already we have a problem. And Rao, absolutely, man. Great shout. Good to see you, dude. Are you a WoW player? Do you ever play WoW? So let's see. 8 bars, fire action. Something isn't quite right here. Let's see how badly I've messed this up. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's coming in early. Shouldn't be what it's doing right now, but we're going to instead make that 12 bars and see if that makes a difference. No, that's going to be 10 bars, so I'm not really too sure what's happening here, but let's see if this might be able to help us get this a little bit tighter going forward. Okay. One of these isn't wanting to play ball. We're going to say 10. Because it seems like 10 is our magic number here for whatever reason. I'm sure I'll end up figuring this out off stream. But apologies for putting you guys for the aggro whilst on stream. But this is also an insight to the process that I go through actually trying to set the live setup anyway. So it's a bit of a win-win in that respect. See, I'm not happy with that. 95. 4, 4. I'm going to say that's 11 bars. See what happens then. 2112 Radio City Beer Works. Pretty much at the end of the can now. That was superb. Absolutely superb. Okay. So, something's happening with regards to playing this live. I'm going to try and figure it out off stream because otherwise we're going to be here all day. But instead, we'll play through this section and just see if I might be able to at least get it right whilst we're on stream. Round 2. Let's see if we can do this right. close enough. So I was even just thinking with regards to what it might be, and I think the only thing I can think is that I've written down the BPM wrong for the track, so I'm going to have to check that off stream anyways. But yeah, like the main reason I'm guessing why it's not leading into the next section is basically just because I think like the BPM is not synced correctly. But like that would be me taking down notes before I've even opened my 2112 today from Radio City Beer Works. So I would have thought I'd taken down those notes fine. If he was asking me to take down notes now, I can't even see straight after that beer. So yeah, that's the way it's gone down. So with regards to where we are at the live set, I guess I'll just wrap up like talking about a few more of the bits of kit that we've got that I'm going to be using for the actual live set itself. So one of the main way that I'm going to be able to play any synth lines, and you might be seeing quite a few more of them at the time as well, is the Arturia Mini Lab 3. See if I can get that into the screen in its entirety. Probably not. Just a basic MIDI synth keyboard. Only covers a few notes. I'm by no means a skilled piano / key / synth player. Literally only been playing for a couple of years in that regard. Explicitly like piano and synths or whatnot. Has a few extra accessories at the top, a few extra dials, a few extra buttons, but I just haven't found any use for them just yet. I'm sure there's a lot more advanced players that are able to take advantage of what's available to them, but I just haven't really stretched my wings with regards to what's available on the kit that I've got at the moment. If anything, I'm trying to learn a few more advanced production techniques rather than a few more techniques that might benefit the live set specifically. The other piece of kit that we've got here is called a Novation launch control. If you guys can see that. And basically what this does is allows me to have direct access over some of the things like the volume, which I'm trying to change now, but it looks like it's actually doing nothing. So that's quite handy to know. Let's try and see if we can plug this out and plug this back in. Let's see if we can get any action happening here. Okay. Nope. Nothing. This is actually the stream where I think everything starts to fall apart. So I think you guys are now witnessing the end. Yeah, no, getting nothing from that. I'm going to have to check that again after the stream. So, which is a shame. Would have been nice to actually showed what this does, but I can essentially show you here without the dials. One of the things that we went over last time. So if I bring up this track here, I can add some flange, which you might have heard in some Red Hot Chili Peppers songs, Tame Impala tracks. Don't know if you guys remember the part of Danny California. So just before it goes into the solo, it's like it just goes through this crazy like Chad Smith drum fill. But the flange, just like, it's one of the few cases that I've actually heard a flange in pop music before Tame Impala brought it all back. Where I was like, that's a really tasteful flange in pop music right there. If you guys not sure what I'm talking about, definitely worth checking up after the stream. But quality flange there from the Red Hot Chilies. We've got some reverb, which I think sounds a little bit too echoey, a little bit too cavernous for my liking. So I might do some more work on that going forward. A bit of delay, as well as some more surreal sort of fade, surreal sort of reverb. Very hard to get this right live, but with enough practice, hopefully shouldn't be an issue. And that just sort of about covers the effects, the digital effects anyways. If we then move over to the guitar kit, we've obviously got the guitar itself, the Fender Tele, provided to me from Tom Batchford back in the day. Those of you who've been paying attention on the streams know that I sang Batchford's praises for the actual day of the gig itself back in November. If it wasn't for him driving me back and forth, as well as just basically being a shoulder to cry on when everything was going wrong that day, then that gig wouldn't have been made possible in much the same way, and obviously wouldn't have been much the same way without the guitar that he so happily provided me quite a few years ago. Just polishing off the can there, 2112 from Radio City Beer Works. Probably quite clear that the 8% beer has had an impact on a stream of my communication, but that's not going to stop me from representing it going forward. So you guys know where to go, rcbw.co.uk, to be able to order more from Radio City Beer Works. Just going through the guitar then, what else have we got? We've got the amplifier. This is a Line 6 Spider. Is, from the looks of it, a Spider 615. So the 15 means 15 watts. It's actually quite a modest piece of kit, this, with regards to the sort of amplifiers that you'd be used to seeing on stage. It's actually quite light. It is not actually, because quite a lot of my sound comes from the production, actually comes from Ableton and the different synths that are found within that. The amp itself doesn't need to be too powerful. I don't actually have a more powerful amp anyways, even if that was the case, but I'd probably still stick with this for some live shows just because of the ease of access, the ease of travel. It's easy to put into the back of a motor, easy to carry if needed. Seriously, yeah, there's not much that needs to be said. The Line 6 Spider has done me well for the past 10 years. I did say the same for my last effects pedal, which actually blew up on the day of the last gig. So I'll get that out for reference real quick. I've actually got this handy here as well. So this is my Boss ME50. So this is a multi-effects pedal. I've actually had this since 2004. And it has absolutely been through the walls over the course of the last 20 years. Or probably the first 10 that I used it. Has a overdrive, a modulation or a delay feature, with a built-in reverb at the top there, which was basically the only additions that I was interested in at the time. But does also come with a compressor and some tone modification itself. So in hindsight, those were terms that back in the day I had absolutely no grasp or idea of what sort of good they'll be able to bring to my playing. But now I think they'd probably get a little bit more attention. And I think on that note, I'd probably outsource that sort of attention to Ableton as well. So, yeah, unfortunately, that effects pedal died on the morning of the gig itself. You literally could not write this, or couldn't write it better. That literally started out November 17th last year, the Radio City Social gig. The one piece of kit that I'd been practicing on that gave me all of the effects on my guitar just decided to peter out and absolutely breathe its last breath on the day of the gig itself. But luckily, there were some very fine individuals. I want to give a shout out to Richard from Hellfeeder, as well as many of the fine gentlemen over at Resonance that was able to provide me with some backup effects on the night. Very much appreciated, but hopefully this time round won't be necessary because I've started to rebuild. So far I've got 2 out of 3 of the pedals that I will be using. The first is the Slotfer. This is a reverb pedal. that is capable of some incredible soundscapes, many different options for many different reverbs, ones with very long cavernous sounds and one with more tighter, more tasteful and textured reverbs to be able to apply to the guitar sounds. I have ordered a distortion pedal. It's a Rat distortion pedal, but it has unfortunately been delayed. But luckily I did get an email through today that said they are working on trying to get that pedal out to me this weekend. So hopefully when that comes through, I won't have to scramble on the day to be able to find more effects. I'll have everything that I need from my old effects pedal. I'll have my reverb, I'll have my distortion, but what I've also included as well is just a bare basics tuning pedal, 40 quid off of Amazon. Had a look at a few reviews online. This is called Donna. It's a Donna tuner. And that is pretty much all I would need for guitars is some reverb, some distortion. And we're pretty much laughing from there. So that is basically... Chris, good to see you in the chat, man. I would say to join us in Twitch or YouTube, but we're just about to wrap up. And also there isn't much more audio to cover. So good to see you there, man. And yes, Rat. Represent the Rat. Very 90s sounding distortion from what I've read so far. I don't actually know much about it, but bands such as My Bloody Valentine and Slow Dive, who are very much big influences on the style of guitar I play, basically swore by that pedal back in the day. So very much looking forward to getting that through. I'll definitely be updating Instagram once that comes in. So keep an eye out for that. But yep, I won't keep you guys any longer. You guys have been extremely patient with me today, considering I haven't really had much material to go through. But I'm very much glad to see that most of you are still kicking about, still like chilling in the chat. Just having a quick look through. Oh mate, yeah, wow. If the delay pedal itself went, like, I can sort of live without distortion, but I do think that if my reverb got taken away or my delay got delayed in that respect, then I might just end up phoning it in on the gig itself, and or either that will just come up with an entirely different set list. That'll probably be rewritten around banjo playing, because that would be the equivalent of how my guitar sounds whilst up there. So yep. We're going to call it a day at that, guys. I'm going to try and figure out what is up with the song off stream. But as I said, I'm actually quite grateful for the fact that you guys were able to see what sort of problems I run into. Again, like nothing too major or whatnot. Nothing I might not be able to get sorted within, like, you know, hopefully like half an hour or so. But yep. The plan is for this weekend to get the set as close to finished as possible. That will include mixes of some of the other tracks that we want to include. So those of you that were here last week are familiar with the vocal tracks that I'm wanting to include, the track featuring vocals from Saroon, as well as the remix that I'm hoping to introduce. But this has basically shown a light on some of the like tracks, the more instrumental tracks that I want to include. And yeah, hopefully that's given you guys a bit more of an insight as to what we'll be playing live in a few weeks' time. So thank you all very much once again. I'll bid you adieu, and until next week, when we basically have a look over the finished set in its entirety. Make sure to head on over to Radio City Beer Works or Radio City Social in Chelmsford. Pick yourself up a can of 2112. And yeah, stay tuned to the socials. Make sure to keep liking, keep commenting. And until next week, all the best, guys. Take it easy.